Okay, this is a quick video demonstration of simulating an on-premise Windows domain environment using nested virtualization on Microsoft Azure. So I've just got some Terraform here that's provisioning, but essentially um, I have a storage account with two objects in a container, which are virtual hard disks, so two 64 gig disks here. So Windows Server domain controller and a Windows Server member. And then essentially in Terraform, what you can do is you can create a managed disk with the source as that object in Terraform. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm going to create disks and attach them to a virtual machine running nested virtualization, and then Hyper-V will be configured to like use those disks as virtual machine image stores. So if I go to my virtual machines here, this one's just provisioning now. Hyper-V range is what I've called it. So this will be running a specific SKU here, this E2 whatever. It's not particularly that powerful, right? You can get better ones. And that's configured with nested virtualization, which I'll talk about in the blog post. And then in terms of disks, where are they? Where do they live on the UI? Here we are, disks. I've attached two additional disks, which are based off of those. They're also 64 gig here, which are based off of those images. So here we go. That didn't take too long. How long did that take? So that took 3 minutes 30 in total here, and I've just got just gonna SSA, RDP into the this machine running Hyper-V. Ignore that it's just on the internet. That doesn't matter. So I've never been on this VM, as you can see here. This is like a fresh boot. And then it's just going to take a little while. You know what Windows are like. I haven't, what's the word? I haven't particularly chosen the fastest settings or anything for this, for any of this. I also think with Windows stuff, it's slower to log in. I think the services run, but the actual UI just takes a little while. Here we go. Right. Okay, so this is my Windows Server, I think 2025 edition, which is running Hyper-V, and I've had to change a couple of settings in the OS or wherever it is in via PowerShell to support nested virtualization, because just deploying that SKU alone isn't enough. So let me type in Hyper-V. It takes a little while, a little slow. Come on, wakey wakey. Right, Hyper-V Manager. Cool, right, here we go. So this is a fresh VM, Hyper-V range, loading virtual machines. Here we go, and I can see there's two virtual machines running, and they've been running for 2 minutes. See what I mean? Like the UI takes longer than the actual rest of the services. So I can see here, there's a Windows Server member's got the little logo here. Looks like the domain controller is perhaps a little bit slower. If I go to File Explorer, actually, I don't think the disks are mounted like that. I don't think you'll be able to see it like that. 1 minute. Yeah, I don't think you, because the disks aren't technically mounted, so you can't see them here like that. But if I go to disk management, you can see I've got disk 23023. That's where they are. If I just scroll down here, there we go. We've got the 264 gig disks. So the first one is configured for this VM. The second disk is configured from this VM. So, but what's cool is that they are up and running. Sorry, I should have been a bit quicker here. And also, they are configured, like the member is configured to be a member of this domain controller already, and I haven't had to touch anything, and it's all done within I guess 6 minutes or something like that. And anyone who's built on-premise ranges or anything like that will tell you that that is pretty quick for this kind of stuff. And also, yeah, I haven't picked the fastest VMs, and I'm using SCSI, which is a bit slower, not like the NVMe things based Gosh, I cannot multitask 1 minute. The NVMe based images are much quicker, which I haven't used because Packer, there's a bug in Packer, which I'll explain in the blog shortly. But yeah, essentially this member, this virtual machine here is a member of this. They're built within the same network in Hyper-V. And what I shall do once I get online is I'll prove it. Right. Yeah, for some reason I'm using, there's no particular reason why I'm running an older version of Windows Server in these VMs. Right, cool. So it's actually not bad running VMs within VMs. It's just, I think the initial UI is a bit slow. So I'm RDP'd and then I've got Hyper-V RDP or whatever it is, remote view on top of that. Right. So if I run NL test, C reset, hopefully this is going to work, not make me look like a fool. There we go, success. That's saying you are part of this domain, and I will prove it very, very quickly. So let's look at this domain controller one in a second. Oh my gosh, release my key here. Here we go. So this is my domain controller, and it should show me all the other rules in a minute once they've kicked into life. But like I said, I think the front end is always a bit slower than the back end. It clearly is online, and that, in fact, I can show you like. So I mean, I don't need to show you the nick. It wouldn't have worked otherwise if I didn't. But come on. I just got to wait for the roles to show up to show you that this is a domain controller. I'm not lying. Come on. Here we go. ADDS. You see it here. File DNS. It's just slow. Oops. There you go. Active Directory, DNS, blah blah blah. So that's all there. So that is a domain controller. So what I will do is I'll go back on my host here, and I shall turn off the domain controller. Done. So I've just got my member, and I will rerun this command, and hopefully this will fail. There we go. It's thinking like it can't connect to the domain controller because it's offline. So what that is demonstrating here, I mean, it's just hanging, which it didn't do before, right? There you go. Error. No logon server. So what this is demonstrating is complete, like, fresh. You just saw me run the Terraform. I have an on-premise simulated domain, like an actual live domain, using nested virtualization based off of virtual hard disks that are stored in containers attached to virtual disks. That's a mouthful. But yeah, cheers. Thank you.